Hey guys, welcome back to Delving into the Cold. This is Dee. This is our second case of the month, and as promised, it's a true crime case. It's an unsolved case as well. It's the Walker County Jane Doe, and this is quite a long case with quite a lot of details, so we're just going to go ahead and get into it. On November 1st, 1980, in Huntsville, Texas, which is in Walker County, a truck driver was driving past Sam Houston National Forest, and he spotted a nude female body face down on the shoulder of Interstate Highway 45. Upon investigation, it was determined that the body was that of a female approximately 14 to 20 years old, and that she'd been dead for around 6 hours, which would have put her time of death around 3:20 that morning. She was wearing a brown pendant with a smoky stone on a gold chain. She had pierced ears but no earrings. Her hair was light brown and cut in a winged fashion and was about 10 inches long. She had a scar on her left eyebrow, hazel eyes. Her toenails were painted pink. She had well cared for teeth, and she was approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall and 105 pounds. And it suggested that since she was well nourished and that her dental health was well taken care of, that she was probably from a middle class family or from a middle class home originally. At the crime scene, a pair of red platform heels with a brown strap were found, and in her body, remnants of a pair of panties and pantyhose were found. And it's suspected that she was wearing jeans and a yellow shirt that had large pockets on it, and I'll get to why that's suspected in a minute. The autopsy revealed that she was sexually assaulted with a blunt instrument, both anally and vaginally. She was beaten and strangled. Her cause of death was asphyxia due to ligature strangulation, possibly from a pair of pantyhose. No semen was found on her body, but her panties and pantyhose were found stuffed into her vaginal cavity. There was also a deep bite mark on her right shoulder. And, the body itself didn't necessarily give a lot of clues about the murderer. But police obviously, started to question nearby people. Have you seen this child? And, there were a couple of sightings of Jane Doe, or who they believe may have been Jane Doe. The day before, which would have been October the 31st, around 6:30 p.m., a girl matching Jane Doe's description walked into the South End Gulf Station, and the girl asked the person there for directions to the Ellis Prison Unit. Apparently, the girl was traveling in a 1973 or 1974 blue Chevrolet, possibly a Caprice, and there was a white male with her. When she left, she was walking, and she turned north on Sam Houston Avenue. That was one sighting. Another sighting was from the same day, October the 31st, and it was of a girl who very closely matched the description of the victim, and she was seen at the Hitchin Post truck stop. She also asked directions to the Ellis Prison Unit, and they gave her a hand-drawn map. The waitress told her, how old are you? You look very young. And the girl replied that she was 19. And the waitress didn't believe that, so she asked, well, what do your parents think about you being out here? And the girl responded with, and I quote, "Who cares?" When asked where she was from, the girl replied that she was from the Arkansas Pass or Rockport area. And the two people that spotted her both at the gas station and at the truck stop described her clothing as being a yellow pullover with large pockets, jeans, and red platforms with brown strap. I don't know that either one of these sightings has been confirmed to be Jane Doe, but it's believed that they are. Her picture was actually taken to Ellis and shown to all the inmates there, and no one came forward. Which, I mean, I don't know that it's surprising, because not only would these people possibly be in more trouble for having connections to someone that ended up dead, but they really didn't have a reason to help the police, if I'm being honest. Now, it is suspected, or it was theorized at the time, that Henry Lee Lucas could be her killer. Unfortunately, they couldn't prove that the bite mark on her shoulder matched his. And so there just wasn't a lot they could do. Leads were, drying up. The case was going cold, and despite their best efforts of doing everything that they could think, they could not find answers. So on January the 16th, 1981, Jane Doe was buried in Oakwood Cemetery. The Huntsville Funeral Home paid for her burial, and Morris Memorials provided the tombstone. But she was exhumed in 1999 to have an anthropologist look at her to more closely determine the age and height of Jane Doe and to collect DNA evidence. And I mean, there have been people that have come forward. There's a whole Facebook page dedicated to finding out who Jane Doe is, which I think is fantastic. And that has led to several people coming forward to the owner of that Facebook page and saying, hey, I may have a lead. And from what I can tell, I've been on the Facebook page, and what I can tell is that the person that runs the page checks every lead or gives every lead to the responsible agencies. She or he seem very thorough. But one of the tips, both on there and I think maybe later to the police, I'm not 100% sure on that, but definitely on the Facebook page, came from a brother and sister who found some pictures from a vacation that they took back in 1980 in Corpus Christi. And there's a girl in some of the pictures that they believe was named Kathleen or Kathy, maybe Katie. And she looks enough like the Walker County Jane Doe that they thought they would come forward. The siblings believe that she lived with a couple at the time, and that she talked about meeting a friend who was in prison in Sugar Land. Again, the siblings thought that she was from Corpus Christi, and so there was, a call sent out on social media, and possibly by the police, I'm not 100% sure, but there was a call sent out, over social media to, if you went to elementary or middle school in Corpus Christi, to see if you recognized Jane Doe because it's believed that in the 60s or 70s she was in elementary or middle school, because it's believed that she was born in 1966. I've seen a picture of who they believe is Kathleen or Kathy or Katie, and she does match Jane Doe enough that I think it's worthy of looking into. There's a list of people who have been excluded as being Jane Doe, and I'm going to go through that list. I'm just going to give you the name, the age, and where the missing person is from. Joyce Brewer, 25, from Grand Prairie, Texas. Mary Triclia, 22, from Fort Worth, Texas. Wendy Eaton, 21, from Media, Pennsylvania. Mary Anheiras, 19, from Norwalk, Connecticut. Cindy King, 19, from Grants Pass, Oregon. Tina Kemp, 16, from Felton, Delaware. Kimberly Ray Doss, 18, from Jacksonville, Florida. Angela Meeker, 15, from Tacoma, Washington. Karen Zendrowski, 17, from Bordentown Township, New Jersey. Deborah McCall, 17, from Downers Grove, Illinois. Marie Blee, 16, from Craig, Colorado. Christy Lynn Booth, 19, from Midland, Texas. Rachel Garden, 15, from Newton, New Hampshire. Lauren Ron, 14, from Manchester, New Hampshire. Roxanne Eastland, 24, from Anchorage, Alaska. And Carla Corley, 14, from Birmingham, Alabama. And those are all the people that have been, or all the women that have been ruled out as not being Jane Doe. And as I stated before, Jane Doe has had DNA taken. So her DNA is available if there's ever a solid connection that's made. Now, some theories on the case are fairly interesting, especially this first one. There was a journalist who claimed that the killer may be a female. And he claimed this because there was no semen found on the body, in the body, or on anywhere on the scene. The bite mark was on her shoulder as opposed to somewhere sexual, such as the breast, or somewhere such as that, where you would likely see it if a male committed the crime. There was a lack of trophies taken. Her necklace was still there. And she was sexually assaulted with foreign objects. The only problem is, while her necklace was still there, her clothing and earrings were gone. Now, she could have totally not had her earrings in, we don't know, but they were still gone, and her clothing was definitely gone. It's also been theorized that the killer may be also responsible for a couple of more deaths, namely the death of Orange Socks, who is an unidentified woman found murdered on the side of a highway. We're going to do a case on it later, so I'll get more in depth with her case later. But it's also been theorized that Jane Doe might be connected to 3 other murdered women who were found along I-45. So we don't have any strong leads. We don't have any suspects. We don't even know who Jane Doe is, but people are still working on the case. Police are still working. The public is still working. There are multiple website pages. There's a NamUs page. There's a Doe Network page. There's a Facebook page. There's just, people haven't forgotten about this case. People are still trying their best to figure out not only who Jane Doe was, but who hurt her. That's all I've got for today, guys. If you know anything, contact the Walker County, Sheriff's Department. Contact someone and let them know. And as always, just let me know what you think about the case. Alright guys, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.